morning. I swear a lot.
It is 20 to 4 in the PM, and you're watching The Foreman. I'm your host, Foreman. You're also listening, presumably. Well, you're definitely listening, I would presume, because the visuals are pointless. If you're also watching, that's pretty cool. I had a thought the other day, and that is literally what Foreman Talks videos are spawned from. It basically starts with, had a thought, guess I'll talk about it. But I had a thought, and it felt kind of profound. As I felt it, I wanted to share with you guys. Story involved much shorter than the last one, but essentially I remember I was having a day where my workload was a lot heavier, everything was taking me a lot longer, I hadn't finished recording until quite late. Luckily I do my editing before I record now, because I always have footage available, but I finished recording by 6 PM or something, and that's quite late for me nowadays. And I was like, I've still got to exercise, and I've still got to do bass practice, and I've still got to do my daily order on Helldiver as well, and I thought about that last one. Now let me be clear, Helldivers is not a chore for me as a game. I play it because I want to, and I've committed to doing my daily orders each day because I don't really want to fall off of it despite how busy I am. I want to keep playing Helldivers because A, it's fun, B, I want to keep up with what's being added to the game. They recently added the heavy machine gun and quasar laser cannon, which are an absolute joy. And 3, I also want to keep contributing to the major orders, you know? Like at the moment, there's a big bot one going on, and I know not a lot of people are into doing the bot major orders, so I want to make sure I get in to help with that at least a little bit. But the thought itself, less explained, less analyzed, just the root thought itself was what struck me when I caught myself being like, alongside everything else I had to do that day, for personal reasons or whatever, I also included I have to get on Helldiver to do my my daily order, and then my time is my own. And I'm like, it made me think, because the way that life is nowadays for a lot of people, especially in terms of work, but also mostly in reference to live service games. This is a big live service game thing, but we have gotten to the point where it becomes an almost necessary skill to have fun efficiently. Might almost tie into the thing I was talking about last time as to why people would spoil themselves on a game by looking everything up instead of just allowing themselves to wander around and explore it. And the simple answer to that question might be because they don't have time. Because they don't have time to explore a game. But live service is a fucker for this, and don't get me wrong, I do like live service games. I don't think they are inherently perfect. I think they have as many flaws as any other genre, and I don't favor them over any other genre or any other style of production, I guess. I wouldn't call live service a genre as much as a form of production. My point is, I don't favor it and I don't dislike it, but this is something that is kind of unique to it, in that live service often comes with dailies. Limbus Company is a big one for me at the moment, but so is Helldivers, and these are two very different kinds of live service games in their gameplay, but very similar in terms of just how things are generally done. It can feel like you're not spending your time off efficiently if you don't get your dailies done. If you don't log in, do the bare minimum to get your daily, even if you're not even fixated on that at the moment. Like recently, very, very recently, we were talking last night at time of recording, I started playing RimWorld again with a fuck ton of mods, because I remember me and a friend set up a game ages ago with a fuck ton of mods and kind of didn't continue with it because multiplayer RimWorld is not really multiplayer RimWorld, at least not the way we were doing it, and it was kind of like, whatever, may as well just play RimWorld in your own time. But I started playing it and was just going through that and really enjoying myself. But before I did that, I went on Helldivers and did my daily orders. Before I did that, I went on Limbus and did my dailies. The new Battle Pass has come out. Season 4 is here. There is stuff to unlock, stuff to earn, Battle Pass levels to gain. And I don't have to do any of these things. I don't. But I feel like I should. And that is perhaps part of the problem here, in that games are being made nowadays with the intent, purpose, maybe not actually intentionally, but that is the business model, or that is the production model that the devs are using, that they perhaps don't really see it this way, but this is kind of why this production model was made, to keep the player continuously interacting with the product so they don't fall off of it and leave it behind. And there are multiple reasons for this. There's the social aspect. We'll use Helldivers as the key example because it is the easiest, most widely known, accessible example, okay? I could talk about Limbus a lot, and maybe I will, but Helldivers is easier to understand, I think, for a lot of people. For a start, Helldivers is the big thing at the moment. It is what a lot of people are playing. I don't know if it's still holding the position at times of the most played game on Steam at this exact moment, but it did for a while, and it's still very popular. People want to be a part of that. No, people don't necessarily want to be left out, as it were. People don't, like, imagine you're like, oh, I think I'll see if any of my friends want to play. I don't know. Total War Warhammer. We'll go with a strange example there, but maybe they want to play that, and then you message them, they go, "Now we're playing Helldivers." Well, you can either play on your own, which I'm perfectly happy to do, but I know a lot of other people prefer to play with friends, or you can jump on Helldivers because everyone else is playing it, so if you want to play with your friends, you should probably play Helldivers 2, right? So it's multiple. Actually, a lot of the reasons are kind of a feeling of social exclusion. The second, and we're continuing to use Helldivers as the example here, Helldivers is an evolving thing. I'm sure a lot of other live service games have done this too. Many of them have, in fact, but the situation of Helldivers is an evolving thing. The galactic war continues to shift. The major orders continue to change. New stratagems and weapons and equipment are being released. If you're not keeping up with that, it can feel like you're being left behind, and that feels bad, man. That ties into very real feelings in the brain of social rejection, which is actually a proven form of actual pain that a human being can experience. That's not even, you know, how a lot of stuff in psychology is, we're 90% sure, but it's kind of hard to really prove this. There are plenty of things that are provable, obviously, but that is something where it's like, yeah, no, we've ran tests and the brain reacts to this negatively. Like, there was even an experiment done once where, without any of these people knowing who the other person were, they had, like, 2 people and a black kid. The reason that's specified will become relevant. There are 2 people and a black kid interacting through a computer, and they were playing a game where you click the button and you throw the ball to another player, right? And the 3 of them were just throwing the ball around to each other. Then they went to the 2 other people and said, "Don't pass to player 3, which was the black kid. And then they went to the black kid and said, "The other 2 players are members of the KKK." And then the 2, they weren't actually members of the KKK, but the kid believed they were, started passing to each other and not passing to that kid. And despite the fact that the kid knew, quote unquote, that those 2 were absolute scumbags, like unarguably scumbags, no 2 ways about it. They were scanning, they were monitoring him, you know, with equipment apparently, and they still got that. His brain still did that. I don't know what it is specifically, but they got that reading of like this kid is feeling social rejection, is feeling pain from that. It's real. It's hard to explain. This was a very big tangent, and I do apologize, but the point is, with a live service model, if you're not keeping up, it can feel like you're being left behind. And if your friends are still on that live service model and talking about all the new stuff, but you haven't been on recently, you don't quite have so much to talk about, and that can leave you feeling left behind and left out. And this ties back to why it feels like you need to have fun efficiently. It feels like you have to keep up. And you have to put aside time in your free time to play this game, almost like you're checking in for your job, right? Like, oh, well, before I have dinner, I need to put in 30 minutes of Helldivers, for example. It's a real thing. And it's weird, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, because I should point out, I think I've already stated it, but I will state it again. I don't feel obligated to play Limbus or Helldivers. I'm not forcing myself to. I'm not sat here like, I need to do it for this reason or for that reason. Limbus does have some business aspects behind it, wherein I do need to keep up with that game and keep getting stuff in that game so that the series will go well. Because I'm about to get to a part where the game is going to get very difficult and I need to keep swapping out teams in order to keep things interesting. So I need to make sure I am getting the in-game resources so that I can, you know, do the new Kanto with, or it'll be an interval after this, with a different team and have it actually perform well. Because if I keep losing, that's bad for me, that's bad for the viewer, that's bad for everyone. I need to make sure I'm doing well. And by that, I need to put the effort in. And it can be a bit of a drag sometimes, but I enjoy Limbus enough, more than enough, that I'm like, oh, this is totally worth it. Like, I don't mind doing it. And Helldivers, I adore Helldivers. Like, there's no real discussion on that one. But I find the concept itself here, this need to have fun efficiently, to have fun in a timely manner, to maximize the amount of enjoyment you have in the limited amount of time you get, to be both interesting and worrisome. Maximizing your fun quota. Like, it's... The words quota and fun probably shouldn't be in the same sentence. Really, let's get down to brass tacks on it, unless you're playing a very specific type of management game. And I can get behind that, because I like management games too, but that's neither here nor there. The example I think back to is Warframe, right? Because I used to be a big Warframe player. Not the best Warframe player, not even necessarily a good Warframe player, but I played Warframe a lot. I believe I stopped shortly after the event after the Necromechs were introduced. I love the Necromechs, by the way. They were super fucking cool. There was no real reason. It's just I had played enough Warframe. I was like, okay, I've done enough. I've played enough. There are other things I want to play now. And I still want to play Warframe. Like, I'd still like to, but I don't have it installed on my computer. It would probably take up a fuck ton of memory. And I know deep in my soul that I cannot afford to reintroduce Warframe into my schedule. I don't have the time. I do not have the time. I don't have the time to play Total War Warhammer 3 and Battletech and Helldivers and Limbus and RimWorld and Palworld and Stellaris. I've completely fallen off of Palworld recently because I don't have time for it. I'm having to make sacrifices here and there. I want to play everything, but I can't. And I cannot reintroduce Warframe into that. That's too much. That's just too much time. Even though the dailies, which I believe it was the Nightwave stuff back when I was last playing, I don't know if that's still the case, but even though the dailies on that aren't that big or aren't that long or aren't that difficult in the grand scheme of things, I don't have time. I don't have time. And plus, I don't play RimWorld for the fucking dailies. I play RimWorld so I can manage a little colony. I started one on the Lost Tribes difficulty because I really wanted to build a colony from the ground up. And it is going predictably slowly, which is, funny enough, what I wanted. Actually, it's exactly what I wanted. My colony is pathetic. We don't even know how to make proper beds. We all sleep on bedrolls, and for about 2 months before we got those bedrolls, we slept on the floor, because the mod I have means you need to turn wood into timber, or lumber or whatever, timber I think. You need to turn wood into timber, you need to turn hides into like treated hides and stuff like that. There's a whole process. It's not so simple as cut down tree, make house. At least until I discovered that log houses were a thing and they do use raw wood, but hey, this is the thing with RimWorld mods, you play and you learn. But there was something very refreshing I found as I was sat there, just playing. And I was playing at like base speed as well, I wasn't even speeding up that much. There was something really enjoyable about having progress and time itself in RimWorld go so fucking slowly. It was so slow. It was so calm. Stuff happened, of course it did, it's RimWorld, but I actually knocked it down a difficulty lower than I normally play. I usually do Adventure Story, and I went one below that, because I was like, I want an extremely chilled out colony building session. And it's not as if it's without risk. The mod I have has included dinosaurs, and they get angry quite easily, and we'll just decide they want to eat your colonists, so I've had to fight them, and someone got an infection and nearly died. That was very close, actually. And I've been in there for a while, so the challenges are only going to ramp up. But it was really nice to have it be so slow, and I think it's because deep down I felt that this was the antithesis of having fun efficiently. I didn't get nearly as much done in that RimWorld session as I probably should, quote-unquote, have done. But that was the joy, that's why I liked it. I got fuck all done, but it was very calming and relaxing, and I enjoyed it, and my little colony has, they're all just, I don't know, being really inefficient, but they're living a life, they've built a life for themselves, and now I'm just slowly upgrading it. Eventually, very soon, we'll unlock the ability to build basic beds. And there was a real peaceful, calm, enjoyable novelty to that. Because I do run my life, and I know Sweetman does as well, I know my brother does as well, many of us do at this point. we do run our lives in a way of like, okay, I get this done, and then this is done, and then this is done, and then I can do this, and then finally at this point I might be able to chill out for a minute, and during that time I need to make sure I'm doing something I fucking enjoy because I have a limited amount of time to enjoy myself in that time, so I better have fun efficiently. And it feels like a lot of live service games, intentionally or otherwise, I'm not actually accusing anyone of anything here, this is just kind of the reality of it, seem to prey on that a little bit. Seems to prey on that desire to have as much fun as possible within a short amount of time. And they're like, we're just going to take up that time with these dailies to make sure you stay invested in our product. Now, the advantage of Helldivers 2 is that it's fucking fun. So when you're doing your dailies, you're like, oh, this is fun, actually, I'm enjoying myself. Like, it's just a good time, solo or with friends, whatever. But it does leave me with a strange... It makes me look at it sideways, you know? I now shoot a couple side looks every now and then, because I'm like, are you just kind of fucking taking little bites out of my free time when I wouldn't necessarily be playing you today, but I feel like I need to because I need to do this thing. I also need to do that in Limbus. What's your deal? What's your plan? It's not a particularly complicated thought, but it was one that struck me recently. But it makes me think because, like, a thought I had as well, and I have to speak on this with extreme amounts of like vagueness and also clarifying that I am not knowledgeable in this field. Okay, this is not something I have proper first-hand experience with, nor is it something I've heavily researched. So I'm going to offer a thought here, and you take it with a pinch of salt / confirm or refute it for me if it's applicable to you. Okay, but it made me think while I was pondering this the other day. I was like, this must be a serious problem, maybe not a serious problem, but at least a minor problem for people who are not neurotypical. You know, like if you got people who are autistic or have OCD or any of these, not any of these sorts of things, but maybe one of these sorts of things, this desire to maximize the amount of enjoyment in what spare time they have, to get all of their dailies done in all their different games, to make sure they are being efficient, must be nightmarish. To have to juggle all that, to have to make sure that it's all being squared away properly and efficiently. I hate the word efficiently. I fucking hate efficiency, except in certain games where I really like it. It's fucking my internal war with efficiency, because I hate it. I hate feeling like I have to be efficient. I love having the option to be efficient, right? When I'm like, okay, I'm good enough at this game now that I can kind of fool around with trying to be even better at it, that's cool. But when the game's like, if a game or a viewer is trying to get me to be efficient as soon as I've started playing, I don't do it. In fact, I go out of my way to not be efficient. This is getting off topic slightly, but that desire to be efficient with your time for someone who is not neurotypical must be extremely fucking taxing mentally. That must be so fucking taxing, because your brain doesn't just shut that off. I'm sure. Once again, I can't stress enough, I'm not speaking from personal experience, so feel free to confirm or refute what I'm saying, okay? These are just opinions I'm putting forward, just thoughts. This is the whole show, it's just me putting out thoughts, and you being like, yes, that certainly is a thought. Yep. Not a good one, though. The thing is, eventually with Warframe, I did manage to break the spell and leave. I did manage to break that spell. And with every game I've played that has had some form of a daily reward, like login bonus reward or anything like that, every single one of those I've played up to this point, not including Helldivers 2 and Limbus Company, because I'm currently actively playing both of those, I've managed to just get out. And I don't think I've even spent that long with them. Warframe was the one I spent the longest with. I played Destiny for a little while, and then I let it go, because I was like, it's shoot game, it's fine. Definitely not bad, but I've gotten as much as I want out of it. I can't actually think of that many other games I've played along these lines, because I don't play live service very often. I like to play a game that's fucking finished. That's always been my key point. I don't really like early access, and I don't really like live service. I like to play a game that's finished. When I pay money for a product, I like that product to be finished. If I pay you to bake me a cake, I don't want you to send me the cake batter and say, you just need to add this and put it in the oven for 40 minutes. And it's like, motherfucker, I paid you for a cake, not a potential cake, not a soon-to-be cake, not a cake 0.8. update cake, but a 1.0 cake. And I want that 1.0 to mean something. But this is also off topic. You'll notice I go off topic a lot, it's because I have a lot of things to say. And also because I'm kind of running out of things to say about the idea of having fun efficiently. Ironically, I'm wasting your time and you're not having fun efficiently because I can't think of anything more to say on this subject. I don't know, it struck me. I thought it was a really strange mindset that we all, willingly or otherwise, consciously or otherwise, just kind of accept the need to efficiently enjoy ourselves. The need to maximize the amount of fun games within a period of time, which seems like the antithesis of what fun and enjoyment and relaxation should be. Relaxation shouldn't have a time frame. Relaxation shouldn't be done in shifts. Fun should not be on a quarterly report. It should just be something you do. And you're like, okay, I've enjoyed myself, now I'm gonna go do what I need to do. Instead of like, I need to get fucking 2 hours of game out in the next 20 minutes, or I need to feel like I've done that. I need to feel like I've accomplished enough enjoyment that then I can go back to doing whatever, or go to bed to then do whatever tomorrow, or any of these things. It's just, I know, I'm not saying anything out there. This is not a hot take. This is not something that no one's thought of. It's just, the feeling hit me and it wouldn't let me go. It wouldn't let me go with how fucking unnatural that is. How wrong that is. What can we do about it? Not a fucking thing. You need to do work to live. It's, you know, like, I wish I could sit here and say, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a fucking solution for you. I don't. I mean, I don't know if Foreman Talks has ever been about solutions. It's just been about talking, but it just rubs me the wrong way that is the way that it is, that is how things are, that is just how it is. I'll get over it. We all have things that upset us and then we just kind of process it and move on from it. I wouldn't say it's bothering me that much. It's not like I'm laying awake at night over it, but it's more just a small scratching little feeling in my head that just wouldn't quite go away, where it's like, you try to be efficient with your fun time. You try to get precisely the amount of fun, as much as you can, out of that very small period of time. And it doesn't seem right, and it's because it's not right. But I'm going to stop here, ladies and gentlemen, because I am just repeating myself, and contrary to what people may think that I think, but a longer video is not necessarily a better one, so we'll cut it here. But do let me know what you think on this subject. Provide examples of live service games you've played where you've had this conundrum or this problem with it. It might just be all of them, I don't know. Or I might be entirely alone. I highly doubt I have such a unique fucking take that no one else feels this way. In fact, I get the impression this is quite a popular thought process, but maybe it is true. That is the case. Maybe it is. I don't know. But let me know what you think, and thank you so much for watching and listening. This one's a little different to last time. I don't know if it's better or worse. Special thanks to Lit Potatoes, Proxy, Caminera, Moa, Heartland, Harrick J, Dresso, Sion Distance, LOL, Final Legend, Etherbin, Linky, Zeon Cedar, Bimblewart, Majoko, Mymoon, Alkir, Honeydew Corporation, Sweet Baby Red, Jessicitty, Plutonium Pie, Dreamer Ghost, Leper Lullaby, K-Bub, Magical, The Frostbite, Monsoon, Warmaster Oku, SCP-106A, Namad, and Kenite100 for support me on Patreon. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you all so much for watching. I like doing these to get some thoughts off my chest and to just generally talk a bit more directly to you guys rather than having the filter of a game in between us. And also, and I'm not ashamed to admit this, because these are a little easier to make. Doesn't mean I want to spam them, doesn't mean I'm going to spam them. We probably won't have another one for quite a while because I don't have any other topics in mind right now. But I'm pleased when I do come up with one because these are just a little bit easier to make for me and much less time consuming. So when I'm like, okay, we can pop one of these out today and have a bit of a discussion, it also gives me a little bit of a breather, which is very nice. But like I said, I'm not going to be doing these super regularly. This is just because one after the other I had two thoughts, and this one felt like more of a half thought, to be honest. So I want to make sure the next time I come up with a Foreman Talks topic, it's something I've really got things to say about. I did have things to say about this. I think I just struggled to really convey them. I don't know, it's strange. But that will be the case. If you have topics in mind, please let me know. I'd be happy to hear them. But whatever we talk about next time, I hope I see you there. Doodles. Goodbye.